Passed out, trapped here in my room. No trace left here of you. Cold call, another person or two. Seems like I'm the only one home. Aligned with the sun. Shadows on everyone. No reason to run. Hide out inside. Just stay at home. So lost and alone. Be here unknown. Don't tell a soul. Bad taste, can't seem to get it out. Blank space where you shut my mouth. Filled yours with love to spit it out. I thought we wanted the same thing. Trust me, it's alright. Goodbye. Now let me try to sleep. But don't care to say goodnight. It would be a lie. Another fleeting dream. Trust me, it's alright. Goodbye. You never meant anything. You mean nothing to me. Just stay at home. So lost and alone. Be here unknown. Don't tell a soul. Been so down since you left. Can't get out of this hole. Stay safe at home. So lost and alone.
Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another installment of Touchline Talk at 2 p.m. Tuesdays and Fridays every single week, coming to you guys. Last time out, we discussed how might City set up next season. Today, what we are going to do is address the recent transfer activity / rumours that have been happening. What do we think of them? Good? Bad? Why do we think that? And so on and so on and so on. There's been a lot of... I don't know if the backlash is the right term, but certainly a lot of... I'm not saying it's overwhelming, but there has been a lot, not an insignificant amount of negative reaction to the Hayes news. Less so to the Echeverry news, I feel like, but the Hayes one seems to be the driving factor of the annoyance, outrage, controversy, whatever words you want to use there. So what I thought we'd do today is discuss that in particular, but also the context of all the other loans. Of course, we'll talk about the homegrown situation. Of course, we'll talk about whether these things are good or bad from that perspective, and also from a developmental perspective, and why I actually think it probably is the correct decision to do this. I personally am, if you saw my tweet, I am on the side of this is probably the correct policy from City, but I know that a lot of people disagree. So we're going to have a dialogue. We are going to discuss. I'm going to give my thoughts. You don't have to agree. It's absolutely fine. But I'm just going to give my thoughts on that, and hopefully we can gain some value from it. But how are we all doing today? Let me know. How's loaning out a 19-year-old controversial? Well, as I say, there's been a lot of negativity towards it, so I felt it was worth addressing. Witherspoon says, I think Hayes is going to getting loaned out as what City's going to do for the long term. It's like what Arsenal did with Saliba a few years ago. He did go on a fair few loans, didn't he? You're not wrong there, Witherspoon. Big up the knob. Love that from you, Sam. Good evening, Miami. We've got Naveen. Andrew, Hayes and Echeverry should both go on loan. Need game time, simple as that. Oh, yes, thank you. I literally lost my voice yesterday, so we couldn't do the Twitch stream that evening. I apologise for that. Feeling a little bit better today. This morning it was basically also not... well, it was getting better. It wasn't that it was not there, but yes. Plenty of fluids is what I'm having right now, so thank you very much. It's always the trouble with this industry, especially for me who talks a lot, and I talk a lot of shit. Yeah, it's one of those. Kit tier list stream when maybe we can do that on Twitch, Musty, I'm not sure. And see, Nick says these loans are a mistake. Process wasn't always meant to be loaned out, perhaps. Love that from you. Wait, he said, love that from you, Phil Foden. Love that from you. Hello, Yanko and my beautiful members. You guys, if you want to be like Yanko, get perks, including exclusive videos and supporting your boy, click that join button underneath the stream or the link in the video description. You mustn't forget we've got Hayes for 70 million. This is also what's interesting, and I actually do want to open up with this. Because, again, this is all alleged, and this is all, nothing has come out concrete. Like Hayes hasn't literally come out and said, I want to go on loan right now. He hasn't done a fucking press conference and said that. But this is what we understand the situation to be, as Amin has put it. So you're absolutely right. I'm just going to double check how much did Reece cost. I think it was £30 million, was it? Is that what it was? Is that what it was? I might be wrong. It might be more. BBC. Man City signed Hayes in £29.6 million deal from Palmeiras. Yeah, so £30 million. Okay, cool. Fine. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the first thing to say, before we even address whether it's the correct decision or not, is that it is the player's decision. He's actively, apparently, said he would like to go. He would like to go out on loan to develop. So, first and foremost, we might as well just end the stream right now. Because he, wants to go out on loan. And I think that's the correct call from him. So, that's the first thing to say. I believe, certainly in respect of Hayes, we'll also touch on Echeverry. I believe that most of the aggression, as I say, the controversy, the disappointment from a lot of people, is that I think people were viewing it almost as it's one or the other. It's you keep Akanji and loan out Hayes, or you keep Hayes and move on Akanji. And I think that people have now established in their heads, so these people who are certainly against it anyway, they view it as this dichotomy, where it is these two opposing things and only one of these things can happen, you know? They are polar opposed, they are polar opposites and opposed to one another. Now, I think that's a mental starting point for a number of reasons. The chief reason, among which, is that in an ideal world, Akanji isn't going to be starting on a consistent basis at centre-back. Akanji should, keyword there being should, be being used as an option as a defensive right-back, not a centre-back. We should be playing Gvardiol, Diaz, Kusanov, Ake, Stones, preferably all ahead of Akanji, and he should be getting the majority of his minutes out at right-back, sometimes at centre-back, of course, sometimes at left-back if need be, but in general, he should be playing at right-back. So I do not even view it as a choice between the two. I've never quite understood that, to be honest, because I've never viewed Akanji as his chief position being at centre-back based on this City squad as things stand. I also don't look at Hayes as a viable option at right-back right now. I only view him as a centre-back option, so I don't even view it as, well, if you're saying Akanji's at right-back, then could Hayes be taking those right-back minutes? I fundamentally do not think so, certainly not at this stage in his very young career. So I, first and foremost, disagree with the concept, what I believe to be the concept of the outrage and the controversy, which is that people are viewing it as, we're moving Hayes out on loan, but we're keeping Akanji. What's that all about? Like, why can't we keep Hayes and move on Akanji? I don't think it's about that, first of all. Musty raises an interesting point there. Hayes and Akanji batting it out for fifth choice centre-back. Here's the other thing to note. In an ideal world, again, you've got Akanji at centre-back below Diaz, Gvardiol, Ake, Stones. Of course, we know that Ake and Stones are a big question mark in terms of the fitness and whatnot, but generally speaking, Gvardiol is not injury prone. Generally speaking, Diaz is not injury prone. I know Stones and Ake were very injury prone last season, but last season was a bit mad, wasn't it? I do feel like there is enough depth there, and then you have Akanji there as well. Even if you were to move on Akanji and keep Hayes, and let's just talk about the centre-back situation, which again I think is an incorrect thing to do. Kusanov as well, thank you, Miracle. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's a very good point. So it's even less, isn't it? So it's Gvardiol, it's Diaz, it's Kusanov, it's Ake, it's Stones. Yeah, so actually, yes, so it's actually 6th, isn't it? And this is that goes even further to the point I'm about to make now. If we have Hayes here, and I say, let's pretend Akanji isn't even at the club for a moment, and Hayes is here. Well, he's never starting over Gvardiol, realistically. He's never really going to start over Diaz. He shouldn't be starting over Kusanov either. If Ake and Stones are fit, they would both start over him as well. Even if you want to say that collectively they only count as one player, whatever, Ake and Stones, you're still looking at very, very, very limited minutes for a Vitor Hayes to develop into the player who we all hope he will develop into. I think it was, I can't remember if it was like weeks ago, or it may have even been like over a month ago, or months ago. I said on this channel, I don't know if we all strictly agreed, but it's certainly what I've been saying whenever I've been on LNobbins, or whenever I've been here, or when I've been wherever on another channel. What I would like to do this summer, what I would have liked to have done this summer in respect of outgoings, is loan out Hayes and keep Akanji. And I said that a long time ago, and I also kept saying that when the news was that Vitor Hayes is apparently not going out on loan, and he apparently wants to stay. There was like a story about that a couple of weeks ago, and it comes down to the fact that where is he going to play at centre back? Like he's realistically he's not, and he's 19 years old. Is he going to be 20? He'll be 20 at some point next season. I think his birthday's in January. Is that weird if I know his date of birth? Is it weird that I knew his date of birth was in January? I don't know. But it is. Okay, so it is on the 12th of January. So he will be 20 next year as well. But again, he's not only young, he's also very inexperienced. Very inexperienced. He's had one proper season with Palmeiras. I do not think that City next season would be able to offer him the correct environment to develop into the centre-back that we think he can be. I think he's now at the stage in his career, as I say, 19, going to be 20 in Jan next year. Again, weird that Nobbins knew that. He needs to be getting some sort of consistent football right now. Now, that doesn't mean he has to start 38 games in a season. However, let's say that he even if we live in a world where Akanji is sold, let's assume that for a moment. He's still got to get past Gvardiol, Diaz, Kusanov, Ake, and Stones. Maybe the two latter are a bit easy to get past due to injuries, but still, they're all ahead of him in that pecking order. How many starts do we suppose he gets in the Premier League? Unless, even if there's a bit of an injury situation, it's maybe I don't even know, 3 to 5 at the most in the Premier League, certainly. And of course, cup games are a different conversation. I don't think he's going to get the requisite experience this next season. I don't think that the landscape is there for him. Even if we were to move on, you're both Ake and Stones, which was never going to happen, by the way. We were never going to move on all three of Akanji, Stones, and Ake. That was never even a starting point for one summer. So we can't even say, oh, but what if all of them got moved on? It wouldn't happen, would it? So I don't think he'd get a good amount of minutes that matter. Anyway, certainly not in the Premier League. I'd much rather, well, I would have rather he'd gone to Lyon, to be honest, but I would have rather he go to a European side in the top flight and get that consistent experience. And then next season, when players either have a contract that's about to run out, like they only have 1 year left at that time, or the contracts have actually expired. So Hayes played a singular minute in the league last season. That is interesting. Yeah. So yeah, he's not going to get significant game time if he plays at City. So I just really don't agree that it's a bad thing to loan out Hayes. In fact, I think it's a very good thing so that he gets that consistent experience. And the timing makes so much more sense. So let me just double check contract situations, because I think we've got players who are either going to expire next summer, our centre-backs, or they'll only be 1 year out. So, for example, John Stones. His contract expires next year. Now, a lot of people, and I think it is a fairish comparison, a lot of people are saying, Vitor Hayes could be the long-term John Stones replacement. Now, it seems to me, if we're just going to do a like-for-like swap, and I think that's the easiest thing to do here, John Stones' contract expires in the summer of next season, which is also when, if Hayes goes out on loan this year, that's when Hayes comes back. So it's literally Stones goes out, Hayes comes in. And a slot is already there for him. It just seems to me to make a lot of sense for him to go out on loan. Certainly with that timeline. There isn't the space for him now. Does anyone really think that Stones is going to get offered a contract extension? I mean, he might. Of course, there's always that possibility. But how old is he? He's 30. He'll be 32 by the end of next season. And we know that he's obviously wonderful when he's not injured. But sadly, that is always the case, isn't it? So I'd be very surprised if he was offered a contract extension, if he stays this summer. And I love John Stones, obviously. It's like, I think that it's one of those where if he's available, he is arguably our best centre-back. But we've never really been able to rely on him for an entire season, have we? It's always been tricky. So I'd be very surprised if he gets offered an extension. So in respect to the timeline, he is leaving, Hayes comes in. So a loan to develop elsewhere in Europe, in a top 5 league, to me, seems to make a lot of sense. Seems to make a lot of sense. So I'm really quite happy with the Hayes loan for his own development. For City, also, I'll revise the numbers if we're including Hayes, but also for the homegrown situation, because Vitor Hayes for the Champions League would count as a non-homegrown option, so he would take up one of that list, one of those slots. He can't go into List B. I've seen that being spread around on Twitter as well. That is objectively incorrect. No. Just because you're under 21 for the Champions League does not mean you can go on List B. In short, you have to be homegrown and under 21 to go on List B. You've got to be eligible to play for the club for a period of 2 years, starting, and that clock starts at 15. And Hayes, funnily enough, has not been at City for 2 years. So no, he will not count as List B for Champions League. So if anyone tries to tell you that, it ain't that's fake news. That's fake news. So I'm very happy with that in isolation for his own development, for the timeline, but also I'll bring it back to what I said 5-10 minutes ago, whenever it was. I don't even view Akanji and Hayes as like competing for the same position, really. Akanji's position should be at right back and in a pinch at centre back, of course, but for the most part, he should be playing at right back. And I don't really want Vitor Hayes to be playing at right back because certainly right now he cannot do that. I think B makes a good point. Yeah, let's be honest, Hayes is not ready to play for City at this very moment. We do not have the luxury to be slowly, nicely embedding a 19-year-old centre-back into our back line right now. Given how many issues we had last year with our defence and just the team in general, we do not know what City are going to be next year, realistically. We could win the title. We could finish second. That sounds really stupid. We could win the title. We might finish 4th. It feels like one of those seasons, and because there's such a big question mark, I don't think it's certainly not the correct environment to be slowly embedding this player into our squad proper. If we were in a stronger position, like if this was like Centurion City, and you know that, you're locked in, you're definitely going to be finishing 1st or 2nd, that then maybe, as I say, it's a different conversation to be had. However, It wasn't, so it isn't. It isn't, so it can't be. Yeah, does that make sense? I hope it does. Yeah. The reactions confuse me a little bit. Hence, I've titled the stream the way I did. What do you guys think? Am I chatting nonsense? Do you guys still think that it was an incorrect decision? Be very interested to hear from people who think it was incorrect, because I would like to understand the POV. I would like to understand it. We'll get into like the Echeverry situation, and I'll update the homegrown metrics, or whatever the term is, as well, because assuming that this loan does actually happen. Hello, Spartacus, how you doing, mate? By the time Hayes is back, Akanji and Stones might be gone. Yes, so Stones, sir, unless Stones gets an extension, that's absolutely correct. I think Akanji's contract actually, I think he has another 2 years. I think. I don't think his expires next summer. Yes, his expires in 2027. So he won't automatically go. It will be interesting to see what City do at that stage, because also Barr will be coming back. I know Akanji and Barr are two very different players, but I wonder if, will we send Barr out on another loan and wait for Akanji to expire naturally? Will we try to move on Akanji and basically say, look, you're not going to play, go dick around for like a year, because we can sell him on the cheap with only 1 year on his contract. That'd be interesting. I think Ake is the same situation as Akanji. I think he's got 2 years as well. Let's just double check, because it might only be 1. Never mind, it is 2. It is 2. Yeah, so Ake's in a similar situation. But Ake's never really been in the same boat as Stones for an injury perspective, I feel like. I'd need to do the adding up, but anecdotally, I feel like Stones has always been far more injury-prone than Ake. I might be chatting bollocks on that, but anecdotally, to my memory, I feel like Ake is far less injury-prone than John Stones. It wouldn't surprise me if we kept Ake until like his contract expired. I mean, he's homegrown, he's left-footed. I don't think you need to. I don't think that you need to even think about that. Yeah. So, what are you guys' thoughts on Hayes and the loan? As I say, I think it's a perfectly good situation. Hayes is unbelievably raw. Needs that experience for me. 100%. 100%. Squad age will go down. It will go massively down, yeah, because if Stones goes out at 32, Hayes comes in, that's a 12-year gap, 100%. And everyone seems to be hopeful that Hayes can be that John Stones sort of mould of centre-backs. That's really interesting. If Stones doesn't get a single injury next season, give him a 10-year contract. That'd be a great challenge for him, wouldn't it? Yeah. Dash says, Ake, Akanji, Stones shouldn't get new contracts. Oh, no, yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. I think that whether you're going to move them on or not, Stones will be 32 by the time his contract expires. Ake will be 32, 33 by the time his contract expires. And then Akanji likewise. So, yeah, I do agree with that, Dash, definitely. Assuming Stones stays, going to be crazy the last game of the Etihad and Bernardo. Yeah, 2 legends, Fenway for sure. Hayes ain't close to Stones yet. Of course, yeah. Again, Hayes is a player who I think has featured in less than 20 league games. That's not league games for City, because that's like he played for like 1 minute, as was just established by Musty. He's played like 18 games in the Brazilian league as well. We're not dealing with this player who's like, boom, ready to go, get him in the lineup instead of Diaz or Gvardiol right now. Like Kusanov, who also needs some work and to develop, is ahead of him, or should be ahead of him, certainly in the pecking order. That's not to shit on Hayes, but we're talking about in this. I think Musty just said it there. Like what we're talking about, Hayes now also applies to Echeverry. Totally agree with that point. Hayes right now is a concept, and Echeverry right now is a concept. He is an idea of a player. He is not a player. Does that make? I mean, he is objectively a player, but does that make sense? He's not yet ready, but the idea of him could be ready. But we can't get to that idea of the player if they are just chilling on the bench, and we do not have the luxury to be messing around, giving them starts willy-nilly. We simply do not. We've got to try to win trophies next season. We've got to try to win the league title next season. We do not have that luxury, to slowly embed these players. It's not like the Centurion season, where towards the end we could just, give Phil Foden 5 Premier League appearances for vibes, and there was another player at the time, wasn't there, who was also young. Was it Lopez? I may have made that up. There was, Diaz maybe, Brahim Diaz. There was another player there who we also were able to just give game time willy-nilly to, and that sort of thing. Does that make sense? Yes, indeed, Musty. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Hayes not ready to play for City. Absolutely. Hayes wants to know because Nobbins refused to do his analysis video. This is genuinely, though, one of the reasons why I haven't done it yet. The only reason I did the Echeverry one is because I felt I had to address the insane dialogue that was being created around him. And so I was like, though, this is actually mental. I'm actually going to have to do a video on this because this is mad. I wasn't planning to do one because in my head I was like, well, he's probably going to go out on loan next season, so it's why I haven't done one on Bar yet. I knew he was going to go out on loan immediately. Hayes is a similar situation. As I looked into him a bit more, I was looking at Kusanov, I was looking at Nico, I was looking at Marmouche. I was like, well, these players clearly are going to be starters. Hayes is not going to be that, really. So it will come, but this is sort of one of the reasons why. This guy, man, this guy. I think Echeverry shouldn't be loaned away. Nuxky, tell me more. Why do you think? We can get on to Echeverry as well if we'd like. Okay. The first thing I want to say, though, is that I need more likes. How many likes do we have? How many people are here? Been at 115? Guys. What are we doing here? Come on. Do you want me to, like, I don't know what you want me to do. Do it. Just leave a like on the video. Anyway, I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Yes, so the state of play right now is looking more promising. And again, this is another reason why I feel like we have to move on Hayes. We have to move on Echeverry on loan. It's far easier to loan out a young player who needs to be loaned out, and it also makes a lot more sense to loan out a player who needs that than a senior experienced player who still has 2 years on the contract, is going to be on a lot of wages, and you get me. Audio's a bit messed up. I don't know what delay means. Refresh your stream if you are experiencing audio issues. Refresh your stream. Thank you. It's fine on my end. You'll just need to refresh it on your end. Yeah. Make sure you refresh, guys. It should be fine after that. If it's not, let me know, but it should be fine. Yeah, so what's the state of play? Yeah, what was my final point there? Yeah, it's a lot easier to move on loan a player who needs the experience rather than try to sell a player who's going to be on a lot of money, is a bit past it, and yeah. I don't want to see anyone say audio's dying. Refresh. I've put it on the screen, literally. F5. Refresh. Yes? So what is the state of play now? And I'm actually going to go back to my old tweets because I've actually forgotten where we are at now. So let me just double check. What has past Nobbins said? Again, if you want great content, go follow the Twitter, guys. So, if Echeverry... So this was before any Hayes situation. If Echeverry and Naipan are loaned, which... let's assume that, for argument's sake. Let's assume that. If Echeverry and Naipan are loaned, and Ortega is sold, then City will need a further 2 non-homegrown outgoings to register everyone for the Champions League. This is what I tweeted a few days ago. So before the Hayes news, assuming Echeverry, Naipan, Ortega happened, we'd need 2 non-homegrown outgoings and 3 to get another player in. But it looks like we're not getting that player in now anyway, so that seems to be a moot point. Hayes going, in addition to Echeverry and Naipan and Ortega, means that now, to satisfy Champions League rules, we only need 1 player to go. Once, and that's a sale. Realistically, that means you're looking at Gundogan as the chief one. That would make the most sense. Kovacic is also an option. In another world, Akanji would be an option, but I've said for a while now, I've never really wanted Akanji to be sold because of his versatility. So right now, we just need to move on 1 player. If Hayes, Echeverry, Naipan go out on loan and Ortega are sold, that seems to be the case. If all that happens, then just Gundogan would have to go. If City have a change of heart and if City have a change of heart and they do want to bring in a non-homegrown right back, on deadline day, whatever, they go, get me Hakimi. I don't know why they do that, but let's say they did. We'd have to sell another player. So that's the state of play. That's the update. Hopefully everyone is now aware of what is going on there. Hopefully that all makes sense. First time catching you live. I'm doing great, mate. How are you? Yeah, definitely musty. There will only be an issue if the unks don't leave. Right now, we just need one. Right now, we just need one to leave for next season. If Hayes, Echeverry, Naipan, Ortega all go, either on loan or sale. Yeah, guys, get the likes up. Come on, you know you want to. You know you want to. Stones might be surprisingly fit. I really hope so, Spartacus. I really hope so. I'm not going to repeat myself, guys. If you have audio issues, refresh. It's a YouTube issue because it seems to be fine on my end. Just refresh it. Should City sell Ederson, who's reported to have agreed personal terms with Galatasaray and signed Donnarumma? No, I wouldn't like that as a signing for me. City are in a position where they have to reassert their dominance in both English and European football. We can't give game time to players who aren't experienced enough. Indeed, it's just tricky. It's tricky. Love that from you, Tahiti. Love that from you. Yeah, there you go, guys. Make sure you refresh and you'll be fine. Can we not just get a right back and just not register a couple of players we don't need in the Champions League? The Premier League is the priority anyway. I mean, you technically could, but I think at that point you're creating a bit of a political issue in the dressing room. So let's say we kept Hayes, for example, and he's just like not included in the Champions League squad. First of all, that's mad because I'd like to see him get some games in the Champions League early days because those are sort of the games that, against like a Bratislava or whatever. That's a game you actually want him to be starting in. So it wouldn't be good for him not getting those minutes. Secondly, I think it would create a political issue in the dressing room as well. Whether they're professionals or not, that would be very weird. But also, I just can't see, just fundamentally, I just can't see City being happy with having two separate squads. I don't think that is how they would want to operate. So technically, you could do that, but practically, that's not going to happen. Exactly, Spartacus. I really don't think that City would be happy or comfortable with that. And I wouldn't be comfortable with that either, by the way, because again, I don't think it's fair to leave players out if you can sort it out in summer. So, yeah, I don't think it's fair. I don't think the City would do that. I hope you're enjoying that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, Musty. That's what you get, yeah? I might not be good at Elden Rings, but I'm damn good at 80s games on the NES, and that is one of the hardest games in the world, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Good luck, Musty. Hello, Bailey. Everyone is not good, injury prone, and a panic buy now. City Twitter doing well these days. Yeah, I've seen some of this panic buy stuff. We addressed it like a couple weeks ago. I think someone said Marmouche was a panic buy. And it's like, okay, matey, okay. I don't even know. I know, I can't even finish that sentence. I don't even know. Oh, no, I'm going to go. You mean the player who was like really good for us from Jan and was like, was one of the most productive players in Europe before we signed him? Even if he was a panic buy, which is bollocks, by the way, why is it a panic buy to sign why would it be bad if we panic bought a really good fucking player? Who gives a shit? And it wasn't anyway, but yeah, those people annoy me. There are sequels, yes. The next one's more of an arcade game, though, It's a bit different. Yes, I put a message in the Discord server, Darsh. I literally lost my voice yesterday. So I couldn't stream on Twitch, so I apologise. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Follow the Twitch, by the way, if you haven't already done so. We're currently playing through Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a good time had by all. Yeah, go follow. Rather keep Gundo and sell Kovas as alternative facts. Do you think we'll win the league this season? Says behind the drinks. I'm not. We aren't the favourites. That's what I'm gonna say. We aren't the favourites. Nico Riley's shirt number is 33. Okay. Interesting. That's fine, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. We do have Guardiola indeed, Abdi. Absolutely. I did not see that, no. To be honest, Kathy, I did not. Fitstones equals the treble. Yeah, we're not that type of club. I think I agree. Nobody's good at Elden Ring. Yeah. So, those are my thoughts on Hayes, and I guess also by consequence Echeverry as well. So I've taken that Hayes comparison. Let's now do the same to Echeverry, shall we? Realistically, you want Echeverry on ball to be starting in attacking midfield. He's not someone like Foden who can play slightly deeper than that. He's not someone who you want to be playing out wide either, really. Although I guess you technically... You could. No, I take that back. You definitely could. In fact, I think I suggested that in my video. You could to start with. But let's assume, for argument's sake, that we're only dealing with he can play in attacking midfield, and that is it. So who is behind him? Who is behind Echeverry right now? Let's say he stays. Because I know someone in the chat earlier said, I want him to stay. And again, that's perfectly fine. But allow me to just like outline my thought process of why I think that'd be a bad idea. Well, he's behind Cherki. And he's behind Foden. And he'd be behind Bob. And he'd be behind even Reinders as well. If we are playing sometimes with Doku, Savio, and they actually drift into the central areas, he's technically also behind Doku and even Savio as well. There's far too many players that he's behind here. It's at least 4. I can even turn it into 6 if I really wanted to, if I was being properly arsey about it. And I am being properly arsey about it, because I'm an arse. Yeah? Yeah. So, it's the exact same paradigm with Hayes. He can't start anywhere, because he's not better than any of those players that I have listed. So, it's tricky. Why not Echeverry right wing? Well, yeah. I mean, he's not a right winger, first of all. So that would be the thing to say. If the argument is, well, why can't we just ease him in naturally, starting from the right? Okay, let's talk about that. Well, he'd be behind Savio. He'd be behind Bob. He'd be behind Cherki if he's starting from the right, or even just playing out on the right. And he'd also be behind Foden if he's starting from the right and coming in centrally, or even if he's just starting outright from the right. Once again, there's too many names that are ahead of him for the level of player he is right now. That's the thing as well. He's nowhere near any of those players right now. Nowhere near, in respect to the player he is right now. This is why I said earlier, he's an idea of a player. He could go on to become far better than all of those players. You know? He could develop into that player. But he's not going to develop into that player. Doku as well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he can also play on the right ahead of him. He's not going to be able to develop into that player if all of these players are ahead of him. The pathway isn't obvious without experience elsewhere. So I really want him to go out on loan. And that's a very good point, Fenway, yeah. I think I said in my Echeverry analysis video, if City sign this creative attacking midfielder, then the pathway to Echeverry, I literally can't even see it. I don't know where it would I don't know how it would work. I don't think it would right now. There's too many names right now. So I think he has to go for his own benefit. He has to go, I think. Nobbins says he's an arse. No. Oh, no, I'm an arse. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Echeverry then. Yeah, I'm an arse. Yeah. No, Yash. I'm talking about me. I am an arse. Oh, gosh. I'm not Thunder Road, no. LB's not... He's not messaged me since he's been on holiday, hasn't he? Because he didn't message me on Monday for an L-bin. So I'm assuming we'll do one on Monday. Yeah. So... Yeah, Bob as well. Yeah, I have mentioned Bob. Yeah, you are absolutely right. Echeverry right back. Yeah. I don't see it, personally. I don't know where he's getting these starts from. I don't know where he's getting these even semi-consistent minutes from. I think it makes far more sense to send him out on loan, see how he does for a top 5 league club, whether that's Roma, whether that's Girona. I don't know. I don't care. Somewhere, yeah. Again, I would have liked Lyon again due to the physicality aspect. I don't know what's happening there because it seems like Hayes and Echeverry aren't going to Lyon. I don't know what's going on. So Echeverry and Hayes going out on loan, I believe, is the correct call for their own development. And again, all the calculations that I've been doing, RE. I wasn't messaged about the South. We are the South Stand, Nitesh. I wasn't messaged about it. All the calculations I have been doing, RE, the homegrown quota as well. You know, the non-homegrown situation, whatever you want to call it. He just doesn't fit in there. He doesn't fit into it. We would be leaving players out, and the players to be left out would be those lower in the pecking order, and that would be Hayes, and that would be Echeverry. Means we are denying them even more game time. And that just makes 0 sense. Para mí. It doesn't make sense. So I'm more than happy with that. What I wanted to do now is touch on, again, just to try to lean more into the Akanji vibe, because on Tuesday we touched on how do we think / how do I want us to set up next season. And lots of people saying, you know, well, what if... Could we play a back 3 in that situation? And we absolutely could. And that's sort of what I want to touch on next. Let me just catch up on the chat, though, and then we'll get into more Akanji chat. Fans need to stop assuming that any player going on loan will never be reincorporated into the team. Yeah, it depends, doesn't it? Like, if Echeverry and Hayes, let's, for argument's sake, let's say they go on loan to Girona, whatever, just as a name. If they go to Girona, and... I know that Girona didn't have a great season last year, but there were many reasons for that. They did get slightly gutted, you know. If they go to Girona and they finish sort of like top half of the table and they perform really well, and Hayes evolves into like this more mature, solid defender, you know, getting like 30 starts in the league, and Echeverry likewise gets like 30 plus starts in La Liga. And performs to the level that we all hope he can do in the future, then there's a conversation to be had about, okay, do we do another loan? Like, you know, like Arsenal did with Saliba, for example. That's an example people use a lot, and I do like that example. Or do we feel, actually, we can move on a couple more players? You know, let's say next summer, not only Stones goes, but also Akanji or whatever. Or we can go, right, okay, now Hayes, you can come into the side. Now Echeverry, you can come into the squad. And you can get, like, more, I don't know, 10 to 15 starts in the Premier League. And then we take it from there. Because they'll still be young at that stage, won't they? They'll be like 20 to 21 years old. I think still 20 years old. So they'll still be young. Big up to iDoom7 for following the Twitch. You are a real one. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, every single evening. Fenway, thank you so much for joining the Ultras Club, mate. Long-time viewer of the channel. Thank you so much for taking the step. You are now a Nabinho Ultra. Welcome to the Ultras Club. I am going to berate you now, though. Your profile picture is literally an F. Can you make that a bit more interesting for me? Because this is fucking boring, yeah? I'm not being funny. I know you've just been lovely to me, and thank you for that. But sort out your profile picture, my beautiful human being. Please, get something. I don't know. Your name's Fenway Cheap Seats. Maybe get a picture of an empty seat. I don't know. IDK. Here's your random footballer, though, for... here's your random footballer. Everyone gets one for becoming a member, and every time they renew. It's a great pull. It's Sergio Ramos. I think that's actually a 20... I think that's like a 20... That's when Ramos had the hair. That's when he was a right back, actually, wasn't it? So, you know, he's a player that we could be doing with right now. Yeah, there we go. That's a good pull, to be fair. That's a great pull. I kind of hate Echeverry loan deal to Girona. They rarely have possession compared to Roma, and at Roma, he'll have a big 9 to feed like Haaland. I don't actually mind which one he goes to. I quite like the idea of Roma because they're in the Europa League, aren't they? They're in the Europa League, so I would like that for Echeverry. But hey, if the club feel like Girona would be a better situation, then I'm fine with that as well. The club apparently don't think so. No, that's what the club are apparently reporting. I'll watch Roma games if Echeverry goes there. Yes, definitely. Yeah, big up to you, Fenway. Thank you so much for joining the channel. I love that from you, mate. Why is Red Meaty not criticising Liverpool? Sorry, I don't know what that means, Jimmy. Language is huge for them. That's a very good point. I don't know if Hayes can speak English, or if I know Echeverry definitely can't. I don't know about the Hayes situation. That's a very good point though as well. Communication isn't ideal, is it? Sam, thank you so much for following in Fenway Steps. Love that from you. And look at that. And look at this, Fenway. Sorry to have a go at you again. Sam actually has a profile picture. Look at that. That's what we want to see. We love to see that. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining the Ultras Club. Welcome to the Ultras Club. I'm sorry to say that your pull isn't quite as impressive as Fenway's of Sergio Ramos. Yours is Gomez, formerly a goalkeeper to Watford and backup goalkeeper at Spurs. So not really that exciting, I'm afraid. But still, better than nothing, yes. Thank you so much, Sam, for your support. I keep these, by the way, guys. I keep all of these in my little Yu-Gi-Oh box over there. Thank you so much. You beautiful human beings. You beautiful human beings. Only Barcelona and Madrid average more possession than Girona last season. That's good then. That's very good. So that means that Hayes is going to be in a... What's it? In a setup which you would like to think is going to be far more easy to transition into than not. That's really good. Thank you, Bailey, for that information. That's really good to know. So they're third, really. That's interesting. That's very even more than yeah, fairs. Again, that's really good. And that's also good, I guess, for Echeverry as well. You'd like to think that if there's going to be more of the ball, he's going to get a higher degree of touches. Again, that sort of correlates to what we may expect at City. That seems to be really good to me. I don't know what the Roma situation is. The reason why I liked the concept of Roma was, first of all, because that was the first name that was brought up, but secondly, just because of the Europa League situation. But again, I don't really mind which one. Leon as well. I don't mind. Just somewhere with top flight experience that's useful would be a lovely thing for us. If anyone knows what's going on with that alleged Leon loan, let me know, because it seemingly looks like Echeverry or Hayes aren't going to go there. Bar's obviously not gone there. Naipan? Question mark? Maybe? I don't know. Grealish? I don't know. Hayes has been taking English classes with Kusanov. That's great. I don't know what people think about this, but like, again, it's one of those intangibles. One of the reasons why I was quite big, I'm still big on the idea of Diaz starting if Nunes is playing, is because if Kusanov is there, and I get it that profile-wise, Kusanov is a better fit for that shape, but they're not going to be able to communicate with one another in efficient terms, if that makes sense. So that's another reason why I'm fine with Diaz there. They can dash, but you can't. I don't think you can convince me that it's not a lot easier if you also you speak a shared language though as well. Certainly from a communication, certainly from an organisational perspective as well. Thank you, Martin, for renewing your membership. Big up to you, mate. Ultras Club milestone, 6 months from Martin. Look at that Fenway, an actual profile picture. Thank you so much, Martin. And your random footballer, mate, is Neil Lennon. Technically a manager, but he was also a player for a time. But he's wearing his manager stuff that you had at Celtic. There you go, mate. Thank you so much. Grealish. Naipan's father mentioned City have a club in mind. Interesting. Yeah, shout out to Martin. Big up Martin. The problem with the Roma loan was they want to include a buy option. Yeah, okay, that they can fuck off with that if that's true. Nah. Not happening. Not happening. We're developing these players. We are not buying them to develop them to then sell them. No. You didn't say the magic word. That's from Jurassic Park, in case you didn't know. How are Chelsea offloading Sterling with 350k wages? We're struggling with Grealish. Where's Sterling going to? Has that been confirmed? Hayes, Kutanov, Echeverry will understand and communicate with each other perfectly for the power of love. Oh, I didn't consider that. That's fairs. Language of football is universally learned. Yes, indeed. It might be wages, Blue. It might be wages. You've got to remember that he was a British record. Signing, so I don't know what his wages are, but they're going to be many. He's going to be one of our top earners, isn't he? So I imagine the deal would have to be structured where we pay like a significant amount of them. I doubt he's going to accept massive reductions. Why would you? If you got a contract and you know I'm on like, I don't know, 350, 300, 200, 400k a week, why would I take a pay cut? I'm chilling. I'm chilling like Bob Dylan, yeah? Like an absolute villain. But it got appealed though. It got appealed. Don't worry, guys. Bullying works. Because where's his profile picture now? Where is it? Oh, I've missed it. There it is. He's actually done it. Big up to you, Fenway. Love that from you. It's all fun and games, you know. Thank you so much, mate, for joining the channel as always. You know I love you. Yeah, Roman wants to buy him, so that cannot happen. That cannot happen. Yeah, Roma can do one with that. No shot. That's what you've got. No shots. That's what you've got. No idea, Adrian, what the injury situation is. Headstone was off to Fulham. That's interesting. Okay. How interesting. I've no idea, Spartacus. It's something mental, though. It's something mental. From a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is Calvin Phillips and 10 is Kevin, what level does Echeverry reach for City? Oh, I don't know. We are living in a world of coulds. He could genuinely get to a 9. He could do that. I'm very convinced of that. But that's a hypothetical, and that's a could. So there's totally good reason to be excited about what Echeverry will become. And this was basically the main thrust of my analysis video. He could be that good. He could become that player. But likewise, he could also... We're at such a weird part in his career where it's so hard to develop this, to guess the ceiling of these players that are still developing. With respect to the skill set he has right now, at 19 years old, I think he's got all the tools to go to that level. It's just about application now, and that is the trickiest thing. It's all well and good having all the talent and ability in the world, but we need to see that on the pitch. We need to see it consistently. We need to see it applied in the correct context as well. Side note, side rant. Whenever anyone tries to use their based on natural ability argument, the way most people use that is when they try to compare Pogba and Kevin De Bruyne. That's the most common one. That is the most common one that I see. Whenever anyone's trying to say, well, based on ability, Pogba was actually better than Kevin De Bruyne. You know what that tells me? Even if I'm to agree with that, that tells me that Pogba just didn't fucking apply himself. Yeah? That tells me he just did not even fucking apply himself. And that makes him even worse as a footballer. Because footballers are all about application, how good you are on the pitch week in, week out. Not what you might be hypothetically or what your ceiling is. What actually are you? What are you? If you're a ceiling, He should be in the fucking Vatican, yeah? Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah? DiCaprio? Leonardo da Vinci. Can you imagine if Leonardo DiCaprio did the Sistine Chapel? No, it was Da Vinci, I think. Do you know what I mean? Ceilings aren't players. Do you know what I mean? See, I got so confused and annoyed and frustrated, I confused the two Leonardos there. Crazy. Crazy. I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing it. Jack, he's going to have to take a pay cut, hasn't he? Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if we subsidised him a little bit if it was a loan and then a buy. I don't know how it would work, though. I don't know how it would work. Good morning from Seattle. Big up to you, Jules. Yeah, Martin, come on, mate. Pay him off. I feel we need to be careful summer 2026 with not getting much of any transfer fees on our senior players. You're not wrong. Oh, was it Michelangelo? I didn't even get the right artist. I apologise. I thought it was Da Vinci. My bad. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point, to be fair. The other turtle, yeah. Guys, you sure it wasn't Donatello or Raphael? Pogba on his day, indeed. Yeah. How many non-homegrown players need to sell to sign Vanderson? Right, so let's go again. Let's go again. Let's bring up past Nobbins. Let's bring up past Nobbins and see what I said in the past, because I can't keep track of these numbers. Right. Oh, fucking hell, I've refreshed my Twitter. What a bastard I am. Go back to my page. Thank you very much. Okay. If Echeverry, Naipan, Hayes are loaned out and Ortega is sold, we will still need to move on 2 players to get Vanderson. If you wanted Vanderson, we would still have to make 2 sales. Now, that basically means you would have to sell both of Gundogan and Kovacic. Because with Hayes being loaned out, especially, it doesn't make any sense to get rid of Akanji anyway, for me. Although I guess, to be fair, if you are bringing in Vanderson in this wood, you could move on Akanji, couldn't you? Yeah, so you'd have to do 2 sales from those 3. Gundo, Kova, Akanji. You'd have to sell 2 of those 3. And none of them have to move on. So, it's a thing. No worries at all, Marty. You're absolutely fine. That's what you'd have to do. Vanderson is a right back for Monaco, and I've still not really... Oh, no, I think... Did we establish it was Martin who... Was it Martin who said he's apparently on the list? I don't know why. Again, maybe it was that. Out of nowhere, on my streams, everyone wanted Vanderson. Everyone wanted him. Which, again, not saying it's a problem. It's just interesting that it all happened out of nowhere, and it seemed to be like this big group of people. I'm again not saying it's a mistake. It's just interesting that is what's happened. Yeah. So we'd have to sell 2 players. 2 of Gundo, Kova, Akanji. Okay, B. I'm gonna break this. I'm gonna break this. I don't know how to break it to you actually. This is the real world, not Football Manager or career mode. It's not as simple to just say, easy, sell these 2. It's not that simple. If Akanji doesn't want to leave, he's going nowhere. He's got 2 years on his deal. He knows that he can play at left back, he can play centre back, he can play at right back. No one is good. No one in Europe, maybe even in the world, is going to pay Akanji the wages that he's on. We can't just say, easy, do this. It's not that simple. It's real. I wish it were sometimes. I wish it were. But it's really not that simple to do that, I'm afraid. Spartacus, yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah, what, Mancunian Way? Yeah, he's called Martin. Big up to him. Oh, sorry, do you mean this channel? My name's not Martin. Or is it? Maybe it is. Maybe it's a fucking bait, yeah? It's unacceptable for me, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I really thought it was a... Da Vinci. I'm getting my artist confused. Because I know Michelangelo did David. Hence Michelangelo's David. And I know Da Vinci did the Mona Lisa. What else was... What was Michelangelo's other main work? If he did the Sistine Chapel and he did David, what was like his main painting? Because like Da Vinci's you'd say was the Mona Lisa. What's Michelangelo's? Let me know. Genuine question. I'm very bad at art. I'm very not versed on. I'm very ignorant when it comes to art. If you asked me to name an artist, it would be one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, to be honest. Vanderson's Scouts report compared to Walker's is day and night. Is that in a good way or a bad way? Is that a good way or a bad way? Again, we're doing that. We're loaning them out. We're loaning at Haste. We're loaning at Etcher. And again, these are players who are far easier to do so. What if we just pretend to exist? Yeah, I mean, fairs, man. I didn't consider that. I never considered that. Oh dear. Yeah, in my world, Akanji's playing at right back. Creation of Adam. See, I thought that was on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Is that not right? Am I being stupid? Is the Creation of Adam a totally different thing? Yeah, I know that, Matthew. Yes, we've established that. I thought that the Creation of Adam, you know, where God's holding out a finger like that. No, yeah, sorry, yeah. No, God's holding out the finger like that. Adam's like, hey, you little dickhead, like that, with his middle finger right up. Yeah. No, let's stop that right now. I thought that was part of the Sistine Chapel. Is that a totally separate bit of work? It is on the ceiling. Yeah. So I said apart from the Sistine Chapel and the statue, what else did he do? Let me know. Can I draw? No. No. Larry, hello. Michelangelo's the Banksy of his day, yeah, Fairs. Michelangelo's Pieta is one of the best sculptures in the world, says DC. Cheeky little guy, isn't he? Vincent isn't Walker, they're two very different players. Yeah, so like what else? Right. We are going to have a fight. We are going to have a fight, Herbal. Because I said, and on the chat, because you guys are saying you did the bloody Creation of Adam, I said apart from the chapel, and apart from Michelangelo's David, what else did he do? What is his Mona Lisa? If he had like a painting in a gallery, what is his? Yeah? That's all I want to know. I'm not including the ceiling, because that's part of the chapel. What else did he do? Let me know, guys. What is his equivalent? We're going to have a fight. What? In case Shirky's not part of Pep starting 11, would a loan out until Christmas be an idea? No. No. He will be part of the plan. Don't you worry. He's staying. He's staying. If we don't comply to the homegrown rule, what would happen? The difference between 115 and 116 is negligible. So what does happen is that you lose... oh, no, sorry. If you don't comply with the Champions League homegrown minimum with the 4 club trained and 4 association trained players, then your non-homegrown quota goes down. The amount you can have goes down. So I guess that's the punishment, yeah? Just the ceiling is his Mona Lisa. Oh, fair. Does he not have like one in like a gallery then, sort of vibe? Like I could go to I can go to the Louvre, yeah? The Louvre and see the Mona Lisa. Is there like not one there? That's what I'm after. Love that from you, Northern Hawaiian. And yet you're from Canada. Interesting. Thank you very much, mate. Love that from you. Fernandez, not Van, and there's the A for the Canadian. Love that. You look like you don't know how to use chopsticks. I can, but very badly. So I don't bother, to be honest. Because why would I? Michelangelo's such an artist playing right back. Oh, God. The David Silva statue. Shut up. Shut up. I don't know if there's any point, Mars, because the club have come out and said we're not going to, well, you know, by journalists saying we're not going to sign a right back, and also we physically can't sign one right now anyway. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly. An artist with a nunchucks, good point. He was always my favourite Ninja Turtle, Michelangelo, so big up to him. What are they going to do? Kick us out of the league. Thank you for the super chat, man. Here's your fortune. Life is too short to hold grudges. There you go. Have you seen Doué, the most underrated right back, currently playing for Strasbourg in League 1? League 1 is close in terms of physicality to the Premier League. I certainly agree with that last bit. I've not seen the Strasbourg right back, though. I can't lie to you. As I say, that's been rescinded, so they haven't been relegated now. It's harder to paint on ceilings. I guess depends, you know, on the equipment you have. It's probably hardest to paint underwater, let's be real. I mean, did Raphael ever paint underwater? Didn't think so. Idiot. Overrated idiot. Yeah, Donatello Clear. That's what I thought. Imposter. Stuart Pearce said we need to go in for Gahey. I thought he was going to Liverpool, to be honest. Change the title to addressing cities outgoing and historic cards. Hey, sometimes we like to pivot to different topics. There's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. I don't even know why we were talking about that. This is what I mean. You know, how many other content creators out there can you have a serious footballing conversation with, and then all of a sudden there's a natural pivot towards having a chat about Renaissance artists? You're not going to get that type of shit anywhere else, yeah? So, watch it. Drink it in, yeah? I do not... Wait, is this the real Nico O'Reilly? How do you feel about your contract extension, mate? I haven't really touched on that. I've tweeted about it. I don't think there's much to say. Very happy with it. Very happy with the contract extension. We need him. We need him to do that. To stay. Because we want Gavardio to be our chief centre-back. Ait-Nouri can't play all the time. We need another option there at left-back who can also attack. O'Reilly is that. So I'm very happy that he's staying. I'm very happy about that. That's captain being cap. Yeah, big up Nico. Yeah, it depends on the tools. It's even harder to paint underwater if you don't have water. Like a pool or whatever, or a sink. Are we the only team that has... big up to James Alcott, by the way. Are we the only team that has homegrown issues, asks Jade. Well, I'm not as well versed. However, I did do the numbers on Liverpool, and they are, right now, close to bursting. However, it looks like Diaz is gone/going, so he's one off. I think it looks like Simicast is almost definitely going to go. So that's a thing. And so really, I don't think they really have a problem, to be honest with you. Surprisingly, Chelsea are not even close to having a homegrown issue right now for the Premier League. I didn't look at the Champions League numbers, to be fair, but certainly for the Premier League, they're not even close to having a concern. They're only about 13 or 14. Something like that. Because you're purple, Spartacus, because you're a mod. So yours, like, glows purple like that. Because you're a moderator. Like that. That's why you're not yellow. Gold, sorry. Have I seen Docker's YouTube channel? No. LB Butcher Meat clip is crazy fairs. I want to paint a submarine underwater. To be fair, that's the way around it, isn't it? Yeah. You can be underwater, but in a ship. That works. Okay, that's a good way to get around that one, to be fair. But they didn't have submarines in the Renaissance, yeah? But yeah, excellent logic there, Mark. Love that from you. Hello to you, Evan. Chelsea players are our academy players. Even players like João Pedro, like he's homegrown. There's loads that are either under 21, so for the Premier League rules, it don't matter, or they were like trained in an academy for the right amount of time. So it's one of those. I guess that must have been like a targeted one. Do Liverpool even have a backup centre-back? Well, this is the hope, isn't it? This is the hope that... yeah, that's another one. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't realise that. He's been in Brighton's academy for 1,000,000 years. Didn't realise that. This is sort of like the cope. Again, maybe it's copium right now. Liverpool are light in certain areas. I would even say they're a bit light even going for right now. They're even a little bit light in the forward areas. The starting 11 they can make is insane. Of course it is. But this has sort of always been the situation with Liverpool, like even under Klopp as well. Like the starting 11 was always like godly or whatever. But lots of people had issues, concerns, whatever, with the overall squad depth. And again, that's my only thing I'm sort of clinging on to. Is that absolutely Spartacus? The centre-back depth right now isn't great, and that must be why they're going for Gahey, surely. And again, defensive midfield is also not particularly good. I mean, they don't even really have a defensive midfield. I know Gravenberch can obviously play there, but he's not strictly that, is he? So it's not straight. It's not like they are flawless sides. Do you know what I mean? They're obviously very good, but you know. Chelsea only back under 21, so most of the become homegrown by the time they are 22. So Spartacus, maybe that's what it is. Matthew says, remember, it's wrong when City spends, but Liverpool can spend 100 million players in a season. They're entitled to spend what they're entitled to spend that. That's the thing. It's not wrong for either side to do it. But yeah, if people are doing double standards, and they are, because obviously if City do something, then it's apparently a bad thing. Then yeah, I don't have a problem with Liverpool spending money because they're entitled to. They're allowed to. The rules say they can. And if you're a fan of like Arsenal and you're looking at Liverpool spending all this money, you're like willing to spend 120-ish million on this elite forward player in Isak, I'd be looking at my club Arsenal, and if I was an Arsenal fan and going, what's going on? What's going on, Arsenal? What are you doing? I wouldn't be having to go to other clubs going, oh, why are you spending money? Like, well, no. It's sort of a spending game. You should be looking at your own club and saying, why aren't you spending? Why aren't my club spending money? What's going on? What's going on? What's that all about? Yeah, Sanchez homegrown. It's very, very annoying for that perspective. Clever, though. It's like Raya for Arsenal. He's homegrown as well because he was in the Blackburn Academy. So like Arsenal are nowhere near the non-homegrown limits. They can bring in loads more if they needed to. Yeah, this is a thing, definitely. They don't have wing depth as much. Yes, I totally agree. In the attacking areas as well, they could be light from a squad perspective. They're banking on the youth to bang, says Ariaman. Liverpool very lucky with injuries, says Fenway. They're deeper this season, but not totally deep. Yeah, it might only take one or two. You know, like again, and Konate is not strictly injury prone, but he always seems to get them throughout his career. You know, it only takes like a decent Konate injury or a decent Gravenberch injury to maybe drop some points, maybe drop some momentum. Who knows? Who knows? And that's the case for obviously every single club, but seems to be those are pretty key areas. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it, REP? Very interesting. DM is Gravenberch. Hopefully you have Bajcetic coming back. Is that confirmed? That's a good point, Kian, because I'm not going to lie, I totally forgot about Bajcetic. He was supposed to be like the next big thing, wasn't he? And then, I don't know what happened. He obviously went out and learned, but I don't know. You know how you were saying our system relies on Nunes not getting injured? Do you not think the plan is to play O'Reilly at left back and Aït-Nouri right back? No, I do not. I don't think Aït-Nouri plays at right back. I'd be very confused if that happened. Very confused. Yeah, it could be a thing, Spartacus. It could be a thing. That was the last thing I wanted to say, just on that system thing, because we didn't really have time to touch on it on Tuesday. We're running out of time now. But it just goes back to the Akanji situation. Why I would want to keep him is because there will be some games where we can't play that 2-3-5 because, Núñez isn't available or is injured or is out of form, and we don't want to start Savio in that game, and we don't want to invert to midfield and drop one of the players, blah, 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 blah. So sometimes you will need to play a 3-2. And in those instances, you need a centre-back who is comfortable playing as a right-back, or a right-back comfortable playing as a centre-back. And for me, Akanji is the only player that truly fits that mould. So I'm quite content with keeping Akanji, to be honest with you, so he can do that job. So then we can play with a 3-2. So Aït-Nouri can still push up to the left, but then you got a back 3 rather than a back 2. So your back 3 becomes, Gvardiol, Diaz, and Akanji. And the 2 ahead can be Rodri, Reinders, that sort of thing. So as I say, you can go more to a 3-2-5 or whatever, or a 3-1-6, whatever, rather than a 2-3 or a 2-2 or a 2-4. So that's another reason why I think it's good to keep Akanji, and he does help with that different build-up structure. So it's not a problem for me. It's not a problem. Would I rather play? Oh yeah, definitely Akanji for me. I'm still really, really pushing back on Kusanov playing at right back. I'm still really pushing back on that because that's, unless he develops into a totally different player, that's not what he is. What people have seen from him right now, I don't understand how. I know I keep repeating it. I just really don't get what they're seeing. Or what they have seen, at Lawn. It was Lawn, wasn't it? It was at Lawn? Have I made that up? I think it was at Lawn. I don't know what they saw at Lawn to think that he can play at right back. He's quick, yeah, but that is not the same as being able to play good at right back. Very, 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 very different. Very, 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 very different, in my humble opinion. No, because off ball he'd have to play. No, on ball's not the problem. Kusanov at right centre back on ball's not a problem. That's fine. But off ball he'd be right back. That's my concern. He'd have to go to right back off ball, wouldn't he? So yeah, that would be my concern. That's exactly why I don't want to do it. Would you consider playing O'Reilly or Aït-Nouri? What, a right back? No, I'd rather play Núñez, Akanji, Lewis, even Stones all ahead of them, to be honest with you. Who's better as an attacking wing back, respect to their position, Núñez or O'Reilly? Going forwards, based on last season, it might be Núñez, low key. It might be. Right wing's a bit concerning. The only outside right winger who holds the width is Savio. I totally agree, Nico. I totally agree. And this is why, for me, my main width holder on the right is the right back. Because I totally agree. Yes, players like Cherki and Bob can technically play as outside right wingers. Even Foden can technically play there. But it's certainly not optimal. And we would be... It's not ideal for what we could be doing. So I agree. And this is why I really wanted another attacking right back this summer. This is why I'm not fully happy with this transfer window. I'm not unhappy with it because we brought in, certainly 3 great starters and a future starting goalkeeper. It's been a good transfer window, but we should have signed a right back over a year ago and it's still not happened. So I can't say it's a brilliant transfer window because for me we should have brought in this right back that can attack. So that's a shame to me. Do you think he'll ever develop into being competent there? I mean, he'd have to be properly forced into playing there. Do you know what I mean? It would have to be a conscious decision by Pep to go, I'm going to mould you into this player. And I don't know if his skill set matches that necessarily. So again, I'm not going to say no, it can't ever happen, because when we signed Stones, I never would have said, oh yeah, he's definitely going to be able to, be the heart of a treble-winning system. I'm never going to say never, but it would have to be a really conscious decision to do that, and I don't know why you would do that. I don't really know. I don't get it. Maybe he will, to be fair. Maybe he will. That could be a thing. Definitely. You know my thoughts on the 316. I'm personally not a fan. Yes, next Twitch stream is on Tuesday, 7 p.m. We haven't even spoken about like Grealish or McAtee or Phillips. They have to go, haven't they? They have to go. Nunes and Zinchenko. Low key. Who holds more girth? This guy, man. A fully fit Stones is a better right back in our current setup than any signing we can make right now. Fully fit, maybe. We did win the Champions League final with Stones at right back, to be fair. We did win the Champions League final with Stones at right back. That was a thing. That'd be a shame, because we should be able to get a decent amount of money for him. He's not a right back, RIP, I know, but he has played there before, and he's played there to great effect. We won a Champions League final with him playing at right back. I was just making the point that there are so many players before Kusanov that I would like to try at right back before going to him. When you bring back Bernardo left back. Says Ben on the left. I don't agree. He's even said himself that he sees himself as a right winger. I think there's more to his game on the right, to be honest with you. Bernadicki all the way. Brilliant. What's on the bridge of my nose? That's a birthmark. We did low key again. That is crazy to think about, isn't it? Like, this Pep guy, man. We had a treble winning system that worked brilliantly, flawlessly for like the past few months leading up to that final, and Pep's like, fuck that. We're abandoning that. I'm playing Stones at right back, and I'm not having him push up alongside Rodri. I'm having a diamond midfield, and Stones is going on the right of that diamond, yeah? In possession. And I'm going to have Stones at right back to deal one-on-one with DeMarco. This guy, man. So funny. Yeah. Crazy. That is what happened, guys. That's what happened. I think people forget that we did not play the treble-winning system in the Champions League final. It was totally different. We played a diamond. We played Stones at right back. And Stones at right central midfield. Bizarre. It worked. But there we go. I don't get why City want 40 mil for Macron when he's got 1 year left and we want a buyback clause too. I think like 35 million's about right, isn't it? I think. To be fair, Bernardo did do a very good job in that first half. I mean, he was forced into a yellow card, but, you know. Don't fancy Stones' hamstrings holding up at right back. No, again, I don't want Stones to play at right back. Someone just said, if we have an injury crisis, would you want Nico O'Reilly to play there? And I was just saying, well, my order with preference would be, Nunes, like Lewis, not necessarily in order, Lewis, Akanji, Stones. I've got all these players I'd want to play before Kusanov. I don't want Stones to play at right back. Let me make that clear. I don't think so, Tobias. Unless I've massively misremembered. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's just how we played. From the off. Nunes needs more respect. He sort of does. Pepon likes to have one fullback. Nah, Cat Fireborn, because he signed 3 in 17-18. He signed 3. He wants his fullbacks. We're pushing it with 35 mil. 30 to 35, I think is fair. Shut up, true citizen. Right, mate. Right, mateys, sorry. Not singular, plural. I think we're going to wrap it up there because we have been chunnering for around 90 minutes. Can we see if we can push it to, I don't know, like 175 likes by the time we go? Because there's still over 250 people watching here, so can we get it up to, I'd say, around 175? That would be lovely, lovely if we could do that. That would be a beautiful time had by all. He could be. I hope he can develop into that sort of manager, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I think 30 to 35 is fair. I think so. Yes, so maybe not 40, but 30 to 35 is good, I think. I've got a Patreon, if that counts. We can't go to the Burnabout away with Akanji or Nunes at right back, says Jay. I mean, it looks like we are. It looks like that is what's going to happen, because we're not going to bring any more players. But also, Jay, we might not even play Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. You're assuming that we even play them. We might not. And we can't structure us. This is why it was so interesting when it was the Euros and people kept defending Walker playing, and I was like, why is Walker fucking playing? And I was like, well, what if, we come up against France and he's got to pocket Mbappe? And it's like, right, well, what if Mbappe goes to the right wing? What if we don't play France? And we didn't, did we? It was, so I can't look at it as we need it for that one match or whatever. I think that would be an error. But, okay, Harry, I will like the live if you say Radiohead are good. There you go. I said what you wanted. I don't like Radiohead, but, I said what you wanted me to say. That's a very good point. I can't believe Forest, man. I can't believe how cheeky they were being. They were, demanding 80+ million, and he had a release clause of 60 million. Little rats, man. Little bastards. That does not surprise me at all, Matthew. Does not surprise me at all. Exactly, Iron Man. Exactly. It's a good point. Who'll be the next manager? Probably, maybe like maybe Nagelsmann, maybe Vinny. Maybe. Guevara playing COD, Black Ops in real life, what a boy. Right, guys. I'm going to shoot off, I think. We nearly got there, didn't we? I'm sure we'll get there on the repeat, because we've got 162. So if you can leave a like on your way out so we can get to that 175 target, that would be very lovely. It does look like LB's going to go live in a few minutes. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I will redirect, is that the term? Raid, whatever. You get me? Sorry, guys. To be fair, I did only listen to them for like 30 seconds collectively, but they were not my vibe. They were just so fucking whining. Oh my god, why do we even exist in this mortal coil? Oh my god, we get it. God, that was the impression I got. Maybe that's not fair, but that's the impression I got from them. Yeah. What is the title of the stream? Echeverry might stay. He can't because of homegrown situation. Kusanov will stay, lol. What is this report? I don't know what that means. But there we go. As soon as this ends, sorry, this will take you to LB's channel. So do not go anywhere, guys, if you want to watch that. I can't stand any of their songs. Just want to know up in TFS. Oh dear, I do not listen to Rammstein. No, I do not. Big up to Zaka, by the way, for subscribing to the channel. Let's see if my bot works, or if not, I'm going to have serious words with it. It doesn't even have a gender. I have an agenda. It doesn't have a gender. Is it going to work? Yeah, there you go, Nobbot. We are live on Twitch every single Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening right now. Playing Red Dead Redemption 2 currently. We're nearing the end. We'll play a different game thereafter. If you want a more chilled out environment where you get to know more about me and you just get to interact with me in a very different way, not just football, we still talk about football, but also just more casual stuff, then come over to the Twitch. It's twitch.tv/LNobbins. You can click that link in the chat, or the link is in the video description, or just go to Twitch and it's LNobbins. This is now going to redirect you to LB. So stay here, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye, guys.